Hey guys, as you know, I just recently got home from a lot of traveling, so I wanted to do a haul video for you guys. If you caught any of my travel vlogs, I mentioned I would just sort of do like one big video showing you all the fun stuff that I got a lot in Japan. So I can't wait to show you some really cool stuff. And I did also come home to a beautiful package from IDYL. So I wanted to show you some new earrings that I got in. I am working with IDYL on this video and I'm a longtime partner with them. I'm so excited to be working with them again. So a big thank you to them. And before I say anything more, I just want to mention that they are having a 20% off Black Friday sale. It is going on right now on their site. Of course, I'll link to everything down below. So let me just show you what I did get in this time around because they're so beautiful, so beautiful. So I've got on the stud with the Paris add-on right now. And these are real diamonds. They are lab-grown diamonds, which is what IDYL is known for. And they're super duper high quality. They're in like the top 1% of lab-grown diamonds. And most of their earrings, most of their jewelry is modular, which is so much fun. So let me just show you. So you can start with something like this. This is their stud. This is their large size. And they usually have like a small, medium, big for a lot of their designs. So even for these add-ons, which I'll show you, they even have like a small, medium, big option. They also have different gold options. So of course you guys know I love rose gold, but they have white gold, they have yellow gold, they have rose gold. So you start with a stud and you can get all of these different modular pieces to add on to the stud. And what you do, let me just show you. Here is what I was just wearing. This is the Paris add-on, and all you have to do is just hang it off of the post of the stud, and there you have a completely different earring. And they have a ton of these different add-ons. I've shown these before in my videos. They have add-ons like this that hang down below your lobe, but they're not dangly if dangly isn't really your style. So for this type of style, you would put the stud on first and then add the add-on onto the post behind your ear and then put the backing on. Isn't that so pretty? It's so cool. So with that one stud and these different add-ons, you have basically like a multitude of different earrings. And they even have ear cuffs like this. So I only have one at the moment. I used to have a lot of piercings in my ears, but I only have one in each ear. And so to give myself like a stacking effect, I like to use these ear cuffs instead of like reopening my holes. But I love the look and the idea of stacking. So I do like these ear cuffs. And they even have ear cuffs like this one, where you can cuff it to your ear and then you can attach this to the stud. So I like to throw the cuff on first. So there, just slide it onto my ear there and then put the stud in. I hang that off the back and then I put the backing on and voila. Again, a completely different look, and I have sort of a stacking idea on my ear with only one piercing. So I love all of the different options that you have with IDYL. And I did also get this add-on. These are the Capris. And I just love that they're pear-shaped drops. So this is again in rose gold, and this is the big size. And let me take this one off and throw this one on. I'm just putting that onto the post there. This is so sweet. I love the size of this one. I think this is really, really versatile because you can wear it during the day, easy. It doesn't look too ostentatious, and then easily keep them on, going into the evening if you're going out to dinner or something. These are really beautiful. And I am actually wearing one of their necklaces as well. And much like their earrings, they have modular necklace pieces. So this is the L'Eternité necklace add-on, and again in rose gold. And this is 0.3 carats, and then the two in the middle over here on either side 0.2 carats, and then the ones at the end are 0.1 carats. And for less than 1 total carat, I think it makes quite an impact. So definitely check out my links down below. Again, they are having a Black Friday sale, 20% off. It's a really great deal if you want to start shopping for some gifts. I do want to just show you the packaging that all of the IDYL pieces come in. So beautifully gift wrapped with a ribbon, and this is the box that all the pieces will come in. I tore it open like an animal, but it comes with this beautiful tissue paper and then all the pieces like hanging on the inside. Just really pretty presentation. And there's also free shipping, free returns, and they even have great travel jewelry cases on their site. They have ones that are much larger if you travel like myself with a lot of jewelry, but this one is great for like quick getaways, or if you're someone that kind of wears the same jewelry every day. This is a wonderful case to bring along. And then sometimes they'll even throw gifts in with your order. So most of my orders have come in this nice padded bag, which is always really great for travel as well. This time I got this silk scrunchie, which is really beautiful. So I just love IDYL. I love their jewelry. I love the quality of their jewelry. And I just love this whole modular idea, how I can get these one studs and like change up all of these different add-ons and end up making several different types of earrings, and then like a gazillion different possibilities of like combinations and stuff. I just love the concept of IDYL. So a big thank you to them for working with me on this video. But let's go ahead and move into some of the things that I got while I was in Japan. So I've only now been able to start unpacking. So a lot of the clothing, at least that I'm going to show you, is so wrinkled because, as you guys know, I was away for a very long time. I started my travels in New York for about 5 days, and then I went to Japan for just short of 2 weeks, and then I spent about 5 or 6 days in Michigan for my knitting ventures. And I got home and I had sent some luggage home with my husband because after Japan he went home. He didn't come to Michigan with me. And so it's just been kind of wild, and we're actually getting ready for another trip, but I will talk about that at another time. So yeah, so I was just like unpacking and I'm like, let me just go through all the stuff that I purchased while I was in Japan while it's still fresh in my mind before it gets like integrated into either my wardrobe or just, around the house or whatever. So I apologize. A lot of the clothing that I'm going to show you has been packed up for weeks, it feels like. Well, yeah, about a couple weeks at least. So it's going to be a little bit wrinkly, but I'll show you nonetheless. There's plenty to talk about. I did only buy one makeup purchase. So as you guys know, I went to Japan with my husband and 3 other men. They were not really interested in makeup shopping, and I did not feel like dragging them around to purchase makeup. There's probably nothing more boring for someone who doesn't wear makeup to do makeup shopping. So anyway, I kind of snuck away while I was in Kyoto, right? Yeah, I think I was in Kyoto. Yeah. And I went to this department store, Daimaru. They had all of the big, brands. As soon as I walked in, I saw Clé de Peau, Shiseido, Suku, Addiction. I think they had Addiction. I think they had 3. And some other brands that I had never heard of. So they had Sicily, but I wanted to get, a Japanese brand. I looked at the Suku counter, and you guys know, I have a lot of makeup, so I really wanted to make sure I was picking up something that I hadn't either seen in the States, or maybe it hasn't been released here, or it's just different. It was just maybe something exclusive to Japan. So I am pretty sure I have not seen these Clé de Peau eyeshadows in the States. So these are the Eye Color Solo. I'm actually going to look online right now and see if they are available, but I don't think so. And I feel like I saw maybe like these being teased and that they were available in Asia and not yet in the US. Okay, yeah, I see it available at like Harrods and basically just not in the States. Yeah, Canada. I don't know why they're not available here. So anyway, I went up to the counter, and upon looking at like the display, I thought it was just a single shadow. I mean, they are just a single shadow, but I thought they were just like a pressed powder. They're not. Anyway, there's 2 boxes because it's refillable. So this one is the case, this one is the eyeshadow. And I got the shade, what is this? Toasty Sand 106. Here is the shade. And so it's got this like really soft, creamy kind of texture to it. And here is that shadow. And when I swatch them, I love this kind of smudgy effect that they have. Let me just open up the case while we're here. Here's what the case looks like. I think I just have to slip this in. You just put it in, it slides right in. I wonder if there's no brush or anything, which is totally fine. I feel like I never ever use the brush or the sponge tip applicator that comes with eyeshadows, so that's fine. Saves us some space. But that is the Eye Color Solo. As far as I know, I think they are still planning on being released in the US, but they haven't yet. So I will link to these down below to Harrods. They do ship to the US. I think their shipping is quite expensive, but if you do want to get your hands on this, I believe that's the only place you can get them. Maybe Selfridges? Selfridges is also another place that I find a lot of you know, Europe or Asian releases that haven't come to the US. I can get them there at Selfridges. But yeah, I don't know why, at least I don't think, please correct me down below if I'm wrong, but I have not seen these in the US and they just have such a great formula. I love that creamy, like putty texture. It has such a great effect, that, like I said, like that kind of smudging effect, almost like an oil pastel. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, or if you caught my vlog, which I will link to down below, you saw that there is still Barney's. Barney's New York is still alive and well in Tokyo. And so I stopped by, and it's a pretty small store. It's 2 levels, but it has that like Barney's vibe, like the decor and the mix of merchandise and how it's merchandise. It felt very familiar, and yeah, we were all like emotional. All of us got like a little something that has like Barney's on it. So I was wandering around just trying to figure out like, oh, what could I get? What could I get? I picked up like a little canvas tote and I was like, no, I want something like a little bit more of a mainstay. So I ended up getting this little handbag. Here is the little dust bag that it comes in. It's got Barney's New York in there. I really did get emotional. It's so ridiculous. But you guys know how much I love duffel bags. So I got this little black duffel bag, and it has Barney. It's just really low key, just embossed in there. It does have a shoulder strap here, so I can wear it on my shoulder. Let me take out all this stuffing. And it even has this little like coin purse on the inside, and there's a zipper pocket on the inside as well. And then there are these fun external pockets here on either end. And I don't think it was that expensive. I think with the conversion rate, and then when you shop and you have your passport, they give you automatically, you know, tax-free, which is 10%. So it was a pretty decent deal. I think this ended up being like $150. Let me put on the shoulder strap here. So it's got some D-rings over here, and then the shoulder strap has these like lobster claw clasps. They had some like really cool totes, book totes, things like that, but I just liked the unique shape of this duffel. And then it is adjustable, so let me make this a wee bit longer. There's my little Barney's bag. Isn't she cute? Good size. Good size. And I really like these little handles here. Really nice. And the leather is really, really nice. So that is what I picked up at Barney's. You should have seen me like hemming and hawing over all of the different like Barney's labeled, you know, stuff. I was like, oh, do I get this bag? This bag? Do I get a scarf? I was all over the place, but I'm glad I landed on this. I think it's really cute. Another bag that I picked up is from one of my all-time favorite Japanese brands, Porter. And I have like a little Porter tote, which I actually have not used in a really long time. And I think it's still in one of my storage bins out in the garage. But anyway, they have come out with, you guessed it, like a tanker duffel shape bag. And I actually saw it when I was in New York before I left for Japan. I saw it when we were up in Hudson, and it was about, I don't know, about like $500 something. And I was like, I know it's gonna be cheaper in Japan. I'm just gonna wait to see if I can get it there. So when we were in Osaka, when we were in Osaka, I found this Porter, they called it a Porter stand, but it's a pretty big store. I thought it was just gonna be like this little pop-up stand in the middle of the mall, but it was actually, you know, a pretty big store. They had so many of their bags. Again, I was kind of like salivating. But I went in and I was like, I definitely want the tanker, I think they call it the tanker roll bag. But they had so many fun bags. So if you guys are familiar with Porter, you kind of know their shtick. But here's their labels. So I don't know if that looks familiar to you guys, but they're known for their nylon bags, and a lot of their nylon bags have like a bomber, like a flight jacket sensibility to them. They're black on the outside, fluorescent orange on the inside. They also have that olive khaki color that flight jackets come in. But they have a lot of bags. Basically, it's like for travel. So they have a lot of backpacks. They have larger like carry-on bags. They have like bum bags that look like bags that you go hiking with. So that's sort of their thing. They even have like briefcases. So they're like bags for on the go. So anyway, here's the dust bag for the bag, and here is the tanker. So this has been packed for weeks now, so it's a little bit flat, but it's just like the Barney's bag. At least I'm consistent, right, you guys? And the bag that I had with me was my Chanel striped, my Cocoa Beach Chanel bag. That's a duffel. Anyway, I do just love this shape because I feel like it fits so much because of the round shape, but when you don't have it stuffed, it does like lay flat, so it's not too bulky. This is what I was talking about. So the lining is orange, much like a flight jacket, and this is all nylon. Here's the Porter, and then this also has pockets on either end, and this does also have a shoulder strap, and then inside there's some pockets here. So when I was in Kyoto, I did like a quick search for Porter because we had one day where my husband and I were just going to be walking around, and we went to this store. It was called Porter, but it wasn't this Porter. It was like Porter like original or something like that. Anyway, the gentleman who started Porter actually broke off and started another company basically called Porter, and a lot of the bags are kind of similar. It's a little bit more minimal, if you will, a little bit less like utilitarian with all of like the, you know, chunky zippers and the snaps and stuff. But I was really confused. I walked in and I was like, this kind of looks the same, but isn't all at the same time. So I asked the salesperson there, and he was like, oh no, you know, he explained to me the difference. And I was like, oh, because I asked him, I was like, do you have this bag? And he was like, oh, that's not actually this store. And anyway, so if you're in Kyoto, just beware. If the name is like a little bit different, there's Porter in there, but it's a little bit different. It's not this. But you'll find Porter at like luggage stores, yeah, any stores like that, and at any of like the bigger malls. They usually have this brand. Let me adjust this strap. Yeah, so there's the bag. This one is considerably larger than the Barney's bag, but it's so light because it's nylon. I feel like I'm going to be using this quite a bit. You guys are familiar with my Cocoa Beach bag, so just as like a size comparison, it's a little bit smaller in every direction. It's a little bit shorter, like less wide, and it's a little bit less round. But the amount that I use this bag, I think, is what prompted me to just kind of continue looking for duffel shaped bags, because I just find it so handy. And I was talking about pricing. So after the tax refund and the fact that I was in Japan, where Porter is much less expensive than it is here in the States. So yeah, I saw it in Hudson, New York for like 500 something. I think I got this bag for 300, just about $300 in Japan. So quite the discount. So if you are planning on going to Japan and you are interested in Japanese brands, and I'm going to talk about that also because I did get some clothing from Sacai, which is a Japanese brand, much less expensive than it is here in the States, obviously. I'm stating the obvious, but just wanted to kind of bring that point home. I did also pick this up from Porter because they had this very subtle, it's kind of like camo, but it is gray, black, and this khaki color, and then the accent color, like the canvas around the zipper, is navy. And so it looked, kind of had like a camo feel to it, but it almost looked like patchwork too. And you know, they had bags in this, and I was thinking about getting another bag, and I was like, I don't need another bag, but I did want something with that pattern. So I picked this up. So this can clasp to any bag, And then when you open it up, it obviously can hold cards, but it does have a place for keys, which is nice. And then this section for cards, and this actually is open as well. So I thought that would be really handy. Sometimes I find myself just only needing to like carry my cards around. Very rarely are we walking around with cash anymore, but I do have a car key. So yeah, I thought this would be really handy, and that I could kind of hang it off of any bag of mine. I thought would be neat. So I picked that up also, and that one came in this cute little dust bag. There's a little Porter guy. So that's what I got at Porter. And then you guys know that I have like a notebook slash stationery problem. And when I went to Japan in 2019, I went like a little hog wild, and it sort of opened the floodgates. I remember after that trip, I was always looking for like fun Japanese or like Asian stationery. I would go back to New York. I would visit Yoseka Stationery in Greenpoint. If you guys are unfamiliar with Yoseka, you have to check them out. Such a great store, and they have amazing stuff. And I'll pop in and, you know, buy something that is so unnecessary. Anyway, when I was in Tokyo, we were down in Tokyo Station, which is gigantic, and you know, the Japanese train stations, I think, are notorious for how like maze-like they are between all the different rail lines. They have like an entire floor probably of restaurants, and then they have a whole floor of like mall space. It's like crazy, absolutely crazy in there. You could probably spend your entire vacation in a Japanese train station. So anyway, we were down in like the bowels of the Tokyo Station. We were looking for a store or something. We ended up at the store, and right next door was the Traveler's Factory store for Tokyo. And if you guys are stationery nerds, you know, the Traveler's Notebook is like, you know, a Japanese brand, and they have like this cult following, and there's YouTube channels dedicated to them. I believe it's owned by Midori, which is a huge Japanese stationery brand. Anyway, I went in there and kind of lost my mind. And then when we were in Kyoto, we were staying at the Ace Hotel, and at the base of the Ace Hotel was the Traveler's Factory store for Kyoto. And there's only, I believe, 4 factory stores in Japan, and I was able to hit 2 of them. So I got a Traveler's Notebook canvas tote bag. So this is one side. They have different sizes, they have different colors at the bottom, but they have the same look with like the leather handles. It looks very tooled. It's got a shoulder strap here. And then on this side, there is a leather pocket, and I got this at Universal Studios in Osaka. So that I'll show that stuff to you later. I also got this pen down in Tokyo Station. Look how cute this Miffy pen is, look. Her arms go up. So I got this tote bag along with a whole bunch of Traveler Notebook stuff, which I will show you. But yeah, I just love the size of this bag. It has a zipper at the top, and this canvas is a really, really heavy weight. This is, I would say, like boat tote, like LL Bean boat tote weight. So really nice, really sturdy, and then it's got this pocket on the inside. I use this when I went to Michigan right after Japan. I use this quite a bit for like my knitting and, you know, carrying my notebooks around or whatever to take notes and do some light sketching or whatever. So yeah, I love this bag. It's so cute. So this pen is a traveler's pen, and I got it in Kyoto, and I can't even remember how this came about. But anyway, when I first saw this pen, I was like, oh, it's so cute. And I had a pen like this, a Traveler's Notebook pen like this. But this one, because this was an actual, you know, factory store of Travelers, they offered engraving for these pens. And so they had all these different colors or whatever, but I went ahead and got black, and I got Kyoto 2025 engraved on there. Isn't that so cool? And I turned my friend Brady, who came with us to Japan, I turned him on to this whole Travelers thing. He's like, oh, what is this? He's like, oh, this is so cool. And he loves to camp, and Travelers, you know, they have a whole line of like camping stuff. Anyway, he got, I think like an orange, oh no, he got the green one. There's like an olive green one, and he got his initials and then like Kyoto in there. And this is a cool pen. So it opens like that. You can put the cap on the back, and then it's got this wood barrel. and it's a rollerball pen. So love that. I love that I was able to get something engraved there. Isn't that cool? Here's the shopping bag that all the Traveler stuff came in. Traveler's Factory. And then the tote bag came in this tote bag. So it came in this little dust bag, so that was really nice. And then they had this little limited edition shopping bag at the factory store. I got this in Kyoto. So all of the stuff that I got is in here. Look at this big pile. So the Traveler's notebooks, they have like a leather cover, and then they have these inserts on the inside. So the leather cover, ideally you get one, and then all you need to do is kind of switch out the inserts, you know, once you finish up the pages, or if you bought a calendar, once the year is over or whatever, you can kind of swap them out. But I ended up getting, and I already have a cover, I already own one, but I ended up getting two because they had a Kyoto one, a special Kyoto version, and then they had a special Tokyo Station version. So I got both because I'm like, I'm in Japan. I'm in Japan. So I already busted open the Kyoto one. This is what I was using when I was in Michigan. But this is what that looks like. So this is the special Kyoto one. And then here is the special Kyoto insert. Isn't that cool? And then, you know, all the notebooks are attached into the cover with these elastic bands. So that's how you can very easily like take them out, replace them, add more very easily. And you just kind of add the elastic onto the cover there. See that there? So this is the Kyoto one that I got, and it came with this Kyoto insert. And then this is another insert that I got at the Kyoto Station one. This is green tea leaf paper, and the paper, let me just show you, is green tea dyed. Isn't that cool? So pretty. It's got this like really fun texture. So pretty. I had to pick that up. I also got the stamp notebook. So at all of the factory stores, they have all of these stamps. So you're supposed to like go to the factory stores and stamp your notebook to kind of like commemorate your travels. So I got this in Kyoto. So when we were in Kyoto, I stamped it, but we had already gone to the Tokyo factory store. So when we went back to Tokyo right before we took off, Brady and I like ran back down to the Tokyo store to stamp. So this is actually a stamp from the Kyoto store, and I just stamped a whole bunch. This one, it kind of bled, but they have a geisha stamp at the Kyoto store. They have these green ones, Kyoto. And then this Love and Trip. This was like their limited edition theme for 2025. And then we went back to Tokyo. Look at this big Tokyo stamp. Isn't that one cool? And then they had like those old school like librarian stampers, so you could date them. So October 31st. And then here's another Tokyo one, a little bit faint. It was very crowded in there. Cloud 9. And then here's one from Tokyo. So yeah, I got a bunch of stamps there, and that's my stamp book. Here's the packaging, the outer packaging for the Kyoto one. So here's a notebook that is Tokyo Station. It's just plain paper, but usually the first page has this area for like a plaque. Is that cute? I thought that was so cute. And then I got one that has black paper because I've got these white gel pens that I can write on black paper. I think that's pretty cool. And then I have a friend who's also a stationery nut, so I got this for her. I'm gonna have to send this to her, but this is pink paper. She loves pink. So I got that for her. And then here is the Tokyo Station notebook. And I think there's already one in the leather cover. So let's open this up together. It'll be nice to have an extra though. So here it is. It's got this little dust bag. And then here is the Tokyo Station. Ooh, isn't that fun? And I love how different it is from the Kyoto. So the Kyoto is like a blue color, but in some, it's almost like, I don't know, it's such an interesting blue. It has like a green kind of tinge to it. Anyway, so pretty. But I feel like they are very indicative of the two different cities. Kyoto is much more historical. It's very, very charming. Tokyo is much more like formal, huge city, you know, just really bustling. And so this one's like a little bit more serious. Oh, the notebook is different. Okay, so this is inside the Tokyo station. This is the notebook that it comes with. I thought maybe it was going to come with this one. Oh, so I'm glad I picked this one up. So yeah, so that's what I got at both Travelers Factory stores. And then I did go to Universal Studios when we were in Osaka. My friend Brady really wanted to go and he was like, I'll go by myself, like it's not a big deal, but I didn't want him to go by himself. And Matthew and Mark were like totally not into it. So my husband and I went with Brady and it was so much fun. But as you guys know, I suffer from motion sickness and I do get vertigo, and thankfully I did not get full-blown vertigo. But there is a ride in the Harry Potter world that is called, shoot, I already forget, but it's indoors and it was named like the best ride ever. But it's one of those where you sit, it actually feels like a roller coaster, but so much of it is in front of you, like in this like 3D screen. So it's very like VR. And so like the chair's kind of throwing you around and then the screen, it feels like you're moving through it. I had to keep my eyes closed the entire time. And after that ride, I was like, whoa, like if I didn't just like slow down a little bit, I was gonna get full-blown vertigo. So we went on one other roller coaster after that, which was like kind of like an old school roller coaster. It wasn't too crazy. It wasn't too like loop-de-loop or whatever. It was, you know, kid approved. But after that, I was like, okay, no more. But before the Harry Potter one, we went on the Flying Dinosaur, which is in the Jurassic Park world. That one was amazing. That was amazing. And we ended up in the front row, which I love. And it's one of those where you're dangling, so your feet are just dangling. Anyway, had the best time, but we couldn't get into the Nintendo world. It was completely packed. It was at capacity. You had to get tickets ahead of time, and they had like timed entry, but it was completely at capacity for the entire day because we thought like, oh, okay, like if it's gonna open up, maybe we'll stay, we can go in. Anyway, it was at capacity the entire day. So all I could get from, of course they had stores everywhere, but I did want to commemorate going there with something. So I got a bunch of these little charms. So the banana peel, which is like my favorite weapon when I'm driving in Mario Kart. And then I got this green toad. And then you guys just saw this. I had the red toad on my traveler's bag. This is so cute. So that's all I picked up at Universal. You know, of course I was tempted to get, like they had the big like toad hat. I was like, no, there's no way. I was running out of luggage space. I actually had to get a new piece of luggage while I was over there, which, you know, is not something I wanted to do, but I also didn't want to pass up the chance, you know, getting stuff that I can only get, not only get in Japan, but get like a really good price in Japan. So anyway, that's what I got while I was at Universal, and it was so funny. So, you know, I love the banana peel, and when I did the street karting in Tokyo, you had to walk up and, you know, you could pick out a costume to wear, all that kind of stuff, and they give you the lowdown, the rules, and how it, the breakdown, you know, how it's going to happen or whatever. And so they had this big screen where they had this, it was like onboarding, it took like 5 minutes. And and it was like, you know, no throwing things out of the cart or whatever, like this isn't a game, we're going to be driving like in the streets of Tokyo. And so the first image they flashed was like one of these bananas with like the red, you know, do not throw anything out of your cart. I was cracking up because I was joking with Brady before we got to the street cart place. I was like, oh, I forgot my banana peels. Anyway, let's move on to the clothing that I got. Oh, and speaking of street carting, my husband and I each got a t-shirt for street carting. So let me, and their merch was so inexpensive. I think these t-shirts were like $12 or something. And I was like, am I doing the conversion right? And we were all standing there with our calculators. And I was like, yeah, these t-shirts are only $12 and their sweatshirts were like $30. And you know, merch now is kind of expensive. I feel like sweatshirts are like 75 bucks easy. Anyway, this is the one I got for myself. So here's the street carting t-shirt that I got. It's got some branding on the sleeve, and then the graphic is on the back. Isn't that fun? Oh my God, I love it so much. In fact, I may wear this later. And then the one my husband got, so this is on the back of his. Isn't that hysterical, like a little ninja? We just had the best time street carting. It was so much fun, so much fun. I highly recommend it. If you are even thinking about it, tempted at all, I highly recommend it. Okay, so when we were in Kyoto, I believe, yeah, I think it was Kyoto, Matthew and Mark, they wanted to go to the Carhartt work in progress store. And just before we left, one of the Carhartt WIP jackets like caught my eye, and you know, I'm familiar with Carhartt. Sacai has done a collaboration with Carhartt, and I'll talk about that in a second. But this was a Carhartt work in progress jacket, and I was like, what's this work in progress line? So it's this like it's Carhartt, but it's this I don't know, more like streetwear kind of, versus, you know, Carhartt is like work gear. And so this work in progress is just a little, I don't know, a little bit cooler or whatever. And so we went to the store, and of course I had to pick up some stuff. And again, completely blew my no-buy for sweatshirts. And I'm actually surprised I only walked away with one, but here is the sweatshirt that I got. So it's got the Whiptopia logo there. And then this is the back, and I was like, I have to get this because I feel like this is a Godzilla version of Butters. Look at that. And it says Carhartt on the bottom, but isn't that funny? So anyway, I got this. I've already worn it. I was wearing this in Michigan because Carhartt's from Detroit, so I was like, let me wear this while I'm in Michigan. Then I got this fleece jacket. You guys know how much I love a fleece, and I just really liked this color. And what I thought was cool is most fleeces that I've come across or that I've seen are just sort of like an open collar. They're kind of like liner jackets or whatever. This one has a hood. I mean, not like this is the only one I've ever seen, but it's definitely unusual. So anyway, I thought this would be really nice for the colder weather that is coming. It is actually pretty dense. It's got this lining, this perforated lining on the inside. And this is, I believe, women's. I believe it's women's, but this is a size small, and it is very oversized on me. Actually, let me throw this on. This can't be women's. I'm thinking this is men's, but I think they have a women's version. Anyway, it's got zippered pockets here, and then it's got the hood. So I liked the looks of this. It's so cozy. So I got this, and then I just could not resist this fabric. I thought it was so cool. So this like workman's jacket. It's kind of like, I don't know, kind of like a barn jacket because it's got this corduroy like neck closure here, and it's like a canvas, but look at this material. Of course it caught my eye on the rack. It's kind of like a tie-dye, kind of like it's sponge painted. It looks like it's faded. It looks like it's acid washed. I just really thought it was cool. And so I got this in size medium. It's lightly padded, and it's got this lining here. And you guys know how much I like streetwear. It's got elastic cuffs, so it's got this like great streetwear feel to it. And then it's got these pockets here with these grommets. I love that accent. But I just thought this was super cool. I loved it. I loved it. It actually fit me pretty well. So this is a medium, and it's also a men's, right? Yeah, it's closing this way. It's a men's, but yeah, it actually fits pretty well. I just love like this patterning on the jacket. I just thought it was so cool. So those are the three things that I got at Carhartt, work in progress. Can't wait till it's cooler here in Vegas. I got so psyched out because I went to Michigan where it's already snowing. And it was so nice and cool there, and then I come back to Vegas and it was like in the 80s. I was like, oh, wait, I can't wear any of this stuff yet. So, okay, so finally, let me show you what I got at Sacai. So we went to the Sacai store in Tokyo. So I was dragging these three pieces that I got with me to Kyoto and then Osaka and then back to Tokyo. But it was so worth it because not only are the prices much cheaper in Japan, but again, you get that 10% back. So I was really excited because all of these pieces were pieces that I was eyeing and that I was going to pick up here in the States, but I'm so glad I waited. So I got two jackets. I got a lot of jackets. Yeah, I got a lot of jackets this trip. Two jackets and one half knitwear, half woven pullover. Let me show you that one first. So yeah, I just unpacked these, so I apologize. They're gonna be a little bit wrinkly. They've been packed since the very beginning of my trip, and I've just been kind of carrying these around with me. But we've just got a regular kind of short sleeve, crew neck, black knitted tee, but you can see peeking out that the back of this is like a woven pinstripe material. So isn't that so cool? It's got this cool tucking here to give the sleeve a little bit more volume. There's actually a breast pocket here in the front, but it looks like a shirt in the back and a sweater in the front. I just love it. I love, love, love Sacai's like piecing, the way they like create their pieces by almost like constructing on the fly, it feels like. I just think it's so, it's just so, so cool. I have their green nylon pleated skirt. I've worn that plenty of times for you guys. I got it at Bergdorf's last year, the year before, maybe last year. And I've just worn that to death. And that is actually my only Sacai piece. I'm always like, should I get it? Should I not get it? Should I get it? And I always chicken out. I don't know why. Anyway, so I'm so glad I got a bunch of pieces. You'll see me wearing this in the very near future, and if not, on Instagram for sure. And their sizing is interesting. They size generally 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm either like a 2 or 3, just kind of depending. But I would say it's kind of like extra small, small, medium, large, or small, medium, large, extra large. And I wanted to get you prices on this stuff. I thought they would have the prices on the tags here, but I don't see it. But everything was basically, I want to say, like 30% off in Japan. So it was just, it was perfect. And there was actually another jacket that I wanted to get. And when I realized, because I was doing quick calculations, I was like, okay, it is cheaper here. And then with the 10% off, I was like, I knew it was going to be a deal. But had I known that the pricing was so much less expensive than it was in the States, because I wasn't sure of the pricing here in the States, I would have picked up another jacket. So if you are planning a trip to Japan and you love Sacai, I would definitely wait to get it there. Actually, I have 2 pieces from Sacai. I forgot, I have this black sweatshirt that I got when I went to the AMG Formula One thing in 2023. Sacai did like a collaboration with them, and so I did that sweatshirt. You guys have seen me wear that. Anyway, I have 2 pieces from Sacai. That black sweatshirt and that pleated skirt, whatever. Anyway, this is another jacket that I got. So this piece I would say is very kind of like signature Sacai, where there is like a flight jacket detail. So this one is a size 3 as well. So here we've got the trench layer, we've got trench detailing and everything, and then underneath, and it's not like these are removable, it's just layered, we've got this nylon inner coat that comes out at the bottom as well, and then it's got a hood in the back. But it feels like they've taken and deconstructed 2 separate jackets and then like put them together. It's very like Frankenstein clothing, and I absolutely love it. So you can zip up the nylon inner here. You can zip that up, leave this open. You can use the elastic on the plackets here to close it to the trench, or you can just close it inside here and leave the trench layered on the outside. It's just neat. It's just so cool. The design is so smart. There's a pocket here. There's pockets here also. I just love it. And it's not super duper heavy for, you know, it being like 2 layers basically. It's not too heavy, so I felt like I could definitely wear it here in Vegas, not a problem. And then this is the other jacket that I got. I have been eyeing this jacket. I almost got it here in the States. I'm so glad I waited, because this was definitely less expensive over there in Japan. But it is a tweed jacket layered over a denim jacket. So like similar idea to the other jacket that I just had, but 2 completely different materials and styles. Now you guys know how much I love tweed. You guys know how much I love like lady jackets, and I just love it layered over this denim. So I love this jacket so much, I couldn't wait. So I actually wore this in Kyoto already, and if you guys saw that vlog, you would have seen it. But the sleeves are a little bit too long, and I need to get them shortened. I have to take them to my amazing tailor here in Vegas, because she can't just shorten them at the end here because of the fraying. So I don't know if she can like remove the sleeve at the armhole and shorten it from the top. We'll have to see. But how cool is this jacket? So it does this like A-line flare at the bottom with the denim. Isn't that neat? And yeah, the layering kind of stops here. So this is all tacked down between the tweed and the denim. But it's meant to, sorry, it's been packed too long. It's a little flat, but it's meant to kind of bell out in the back there. So when I wear this out, I just buttoned like one of these buttons. So they had this jacket in like a brown version. So it was like brown and cream, and then the denim was like a brown denim. But I don't know, there's just something about the navy that I really, really liked. Maybe the denim in navy just made a little bit more sense to me, or like the tweed in the denim just looked a little bit less muddy than the brown, but the brown was really, really cool. I tried that on too, and I was like, oh, I don't know, but I finally went with the navy. And at the moment, I'm just kind of tucking the sleeves in here. Isn't this so cool? I love these Sacai pieces. Isn't this jacket, it's just so cool. I love it so much. And it does have pockets right here in the denim portion. And then these are working pockets if you want to undo them. These are pockets as well. Ah, just the coolest. Love it. Oh, what I wanted to mention in regards to Sacai and Carhartt, because they did a collaboration. So we went to Tokyo first. So I went to the Sacai store first before I went to the Carhartt WIP in Kyoto. And I was so excited. That was one of the things on my list. I was like, oh, I want to get something from that collaboration. But the pieces are made out of like workman gear, like duck canvas. It was so heavy and so stiff. I was like, none of these pieces would ever break in. I mean, it would take a lifetime. And they're not really meant to. They're meant to be really, really durable. So I was kind of bummed. I was, you know, like, oh man, like a lot of it was really cool looking. Like they had a lot of these cropped kind of, they look like cropped barn jackets. And then they would have like a peplum at the bottom, but they were really, I mean, unbelievably heavy. Like that kind of canvas is very, very heavy. So anyway, that's why when we went to Kyoto and that Carhartt store, I was like, I definitely want to get something here because I didn't get anything from that collaboration. I was a little bit bummed. But if any of you guys have been eyeing it, just know that it's heavy. It's heavy as heck. And if any of you have purchased any of those pieces, please let us know down below in the comment section what you think of it. I mean, it's incredibly durable. The quality is incredible, but I just, yeah, let us know if you find them actually like wearable, or if they're just like a little bit too heavy, a little bit too coarse in the material. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. So anyway, that's what I picked up in Japan, and don't forget to check my description box down below for links to these beautiful IDYL pieces. Again, 20% off for Black Friday. And a big thank you to them for working with me on this video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you would be interested in like a traveling to Japan tips video, because it is quite a different culture, and it, you know, their cities are so large. Like Tokyo is so huge that sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating. So anyway, let me know your thoughts on a video like that down below in the comment section, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.